I'll be going back to all my peoples. Yo, they're going to want right there. Raise him, raise her, leave that motherfucker. Raise him. There you go. All right? If this crucifixion was a fact instead of a fable, it seems odd that the four Gospels contain so many contradictions about this one event. Ain't nobody got it straight. For example, the Luke version states that a multitude followed Jesus as he went to his execution, and also a woman wailed and lamented him, Luke 23 and 27. But the other Gospels don't seem to agree. John says that he and Jesus' mother, along with Mary Magdalene, his wife, by the way. See, Mary Magdalene was his wife. There were many Marys. All right? And that's another story I'm going to tell you later on to show you how, by the writing that in Jewish law, Mary Magdalene, based upon everything that they would do, that you said, I am not yet, that things that Jesus was saying, would show you that they were following Jesus' Hebrew law or Jewish law, and that the only role that Mary Magdalene could have been playing was one of Jesus' wife, because of what it is that Jesus was telling her to do. And only the wife would do that. That's because they don't teach you Jewish history when they're teaching you Judeo-Christian history. Matthew denies John's account. Now, John says that he and Jesus' mother, along with Mary Magdalene and two other women, were right at the cross at the execution. That's John 20 and 25. Matthew denies John's account. This is in Matthew 27 and 56. And so does Mark on 15 and 40, where both of them state that Mary Magdalene with other women in Galilee were far off someplace. Luke says that the women of Galilee stood afar off. John said they were at the cross. Now check this. Just a couple of days before the crucifixion, Jesus had raised a man from the dead a couple of miles outside of town. This is in John 11, 43 and 44. He just raised somebody from the dead. This miracle alone, the Bible states in John 11 and 45, as well as John 12 and 9 and 11, many Jews at that time began to believe on him. That's what the Bible said. The Jews began to believe on him. And even the priests and Pharisees were constrained to witness and knowledge to his miraculous powers. Read John 11 and 47. The priest was saying, damn, this boy got the flavor. Yet, Matthew, Mark, and Luke know absolutely nothing of this incident because they don't talk about it. Why is it that John is the only one who knows about this dude, man, doing something that nobody should have been able to do? But instead they tell of this mocking and cursing and reviling by the spectators as he was suffering. Luke says that even the soldiers joined in on this type of conduct. You read Luke 23 and 36 for that. All the Gospels agree that lots were cast for his clothes. And you could read that in 22 and 18. Even the part about the thieves were in accordance with Jeremiah 48 and 27. Jesus was buried very privately by one man, though John adds another figure, I guess, to early, one to carry the foot of the corpse, I guess. John 19, 38 to 40. Perhaps both men were rich, as was the requirement in Isaiah 53 and 9. This version of a super simple and unwarranted funeral for a man that worked incredible wonders just a few days before stinks of churchism. In contrast, a man named Stephen, shortly after, was murdered by a mob, but was buried by devoted men, who right there in Jerusalem made great lamentations over Stephen. Acts 8 and 2. Wait a minute, you just killed the Messiah. The dead got up. The earth quaked. I raised the dead, the blind to see, the deaf to hear, the lame to walk. And couldn't get another motherfucker to carry my feet to the grave? And here goes Stephen. Who the hell is Stephen? They killed this sucker. Stone him at the insistence of Paul. Yet still there's people all over him, crying and wailing and gnashing of teeth. Ain't nobody dealing with the logic. Stephen had no fame, not even as a prophet. He didn't raise the dead, walk on water, make the blind to see, nor was he announced and acknowledged by a voice from heaven that was heard by the Son of God. Matthew 3:17. There was no earthquakes at his death, nor did the corpses of the dead pop out of their graves and walk the earth. Consequently, this Jesus must have been a nobody. That is, compared to Stephen. Such miracles are supposed to have occurred at the death of Jesus when the earth quaked and the rocks were rent.